Real estate attorney Caitlin Morales is handling the case of Polly Murphy, despite being on the verge of giving birth. Her client had previously worked as a nanny, but the family she was employed by moved away, leaving the young woman without income while her landlord raised the rent. Caitlin promises to take care of it. However, as she leaves the office, she goes into labor. Thus, in the Morales family, alongside their daughter Emma, a new baby, Josie, arrives. Sometime later, Caitlin once again meets Polly at a farmer's market. Polly's problem with the landlord still hasn't been resolved. Seeing the tired mother, she reminds Caitlin that she used to work as a nanny and offers to help with the children. Caitlin, who has recently been taking antidepressants, discusses Polly's offer with her husband Miguel. He doesn't object, anything to ease his wife's load. And when the previous family that employed Polly gives her glowing recommendations, Caitlin's remaining doubts disappear. She introduces Polly to the children and shows her the supply of expressed milk, explaining that she doesn't give Josie formula because of the sugar in it. One day, the Moraleses invite the nanny to have dinner with them. Afterward, Polly notices the tense relationship between Caitlin and Emma and comments that the girl just needs a bit more freedom. Learning about Polly's unconventional personal life, Caitlin gives her a dress she no longer needs, while Polly eyes her bottle of antidepressants. The next morning, Caitlin plans to speak with the city about installing a stop sign on their street since drivers speed past their house like maniacs. So Polly spends the entire day with the children. She treats Josie to sweet frosting from a cupcake despite the ban on giving the baby sugar. To Emma, the nanny sadly shares that as a child she lost her parents and ended up in foster care, where the only food available was canned tuna, which she ate straight from the can like a cat. While Caitlin is preparing a fish soup, Polly secretly adds something to it. During dinner, the Moraleses introduce Polly to their friends Stuart and Bethany, and everyone eats the soup, everyone except the nanny. That night, the entire family ends up in the hospital with food poisoning, which Caitlin blames on herself. In response, Polly tells her not to feel guilty and explains that she's moving out of her rental apartment far out of town because she can no longer afford it, meaning she won't be able to come and babysit anymore. After discussing it, the couple decides to let her live with them, giving her the guest house. Outwardly, life with the nanny seems peaceful. But one day, when Polly is alone with baby Josie, she lets the infant slide from her arms and simply wanders around the room, driving the baby into hysterics. Another time, when Caitlin's neck gets stiff and Polly offers to give her a massage, the young woman seems to imagine herself strangling her instead. One day, Caitlin finds an empty formula can in the trash and lashes out at the nanny, reminding her that she specifically asked not to give Josie any sugar. The young woman pretends not to remember such a conversation, while Emma asks her mother not to interrupt their playtime. At some point, Polly brings over her girlfriend Amelia and introduces her to the Morales family. That night, Caitlin spies on them as they make love, and when Polly catches her gaze, Caitlin leaves the room in embarrassment. The next day, the nanny tells Emma that the name Olivia tattooed on her arm belongs to her younger sister and confides that Caitlin doesn't like her because Polly knows her dark secret. Meanwhile, Caitlin calls her doctor and reports that lately her antidepressants have been making her feel strange. The doctor simply advises her to try lowering the dosage. During lunch, Emma tells her parents that when she grows up, she wants to have not a husband, but a wife. Caitlin demands an explanation, and Polly calmly explains that she was merely telling the girl about different kinds of couples. As a result, Caitlin tells her husband she doesn't like their 10-year-old daughter making such a choice. Besides, they have no idea what Emma and Polly do behind closed doors. Miguel responds that maybe it's just jealousy speaking in his wife. After that, the couple decides to make love, and Caitlin wants to do it the same way Polly and Amelia did. Meanwhile, Polly continues secretly swapping out Caitlin's antidepressants. On New Year's Eve, the whole family goes outside to watch the fireworks. Later that night, a loud bang comes from Emma's room. The girl had tried to light a firework on her own. Polly admits that she was the one who bought the fireworks to set them off in the yard, claiming she didn't know things would go wrong. Caitlin, of course, doesn't believe her, screaming that the nanny planned everything deliberately. She immediately throws the young woman out of the house. That same night, Miguel tries to convince his wife that she might be wrong about Polly and that her unstable mental state is to blame. Shortly afterward, Caitlin drives to a motel where Polly is staying, apologizes to her, and asks her to come back. Polly hugs her, not at all surprised. Caitlin finally gets the city to install the stop sign, while their friend Stuart decides to clear up his doubts and learn more about the suspicious nanny. He sneaks into Polly's guest house and steals a bag of her trash. When the man is caught by Polly, he claims he just wanted to see the guest house after the renovation. Later that evening, he secretly collects a blood sample from a used tampon found inside. Meanwhile, Caitlin calls Polly's supposed former employers again. This time, no one answers. She then discovers that the number actually belongs to a rehabilitation center worker named Rosanna and drives there. When Caitlin meets Rosanna, she learns that Polly had allegedly been a drug addict who lived in her car and was regularly abused by her boyfriend. Out of pity, Rosanna took her in and helped her get a job as a nanny, pretending over the phone to be her previous employer. At the same time, Stuart leaves Caitlin a voicemail urging her to call him back immediately and prints out a newspaper article about a fire in which 3 people died. Soon after, Polly unexpectedly shows up at Stuart's place to ask why he broke into her guest house earlier that day. When she notices the newspaper article, the man admits honestly that now he knows everything. Polly's real name is Rebecca. In childhood, she lived on the same street as Caitlin, who at the time was called Jenny. According to the article, the girl lost her entire family in a fire. Polly immediately declares that she lost her little sister Olivia in that blaze and that Caitlin was the one who set the fire. Stuart hints that something had also happened to Caitlin before the incident. However, the young woman sharply cuts him off, saying that is not true, excuses herself to go to the bathroom, and then ambushes him from behind, brutally beating him with a bat and attempting to kill him. Soon, Caitlin receives a call from Stuart's wife, Bethany, who says that her husband was severely beaten, probably during a robbery attempt. The woman rushes to the hospital and tells a police officer that her friend had been digging for information about their suspicious nanny and that this could be related. However, the officer ignores this warning. Caitlin returns home the next morning and finds the family having breakfast with the nanny. She tries to make Polly leave, but when that fails, she starts packing the nanny's things herself. During the ensuing struggle with Polly, Caitlin accidentally breaks Emma's nose. As a result, Caitlin moves out to a hotel and arranges through Child Protective Services to have a supervised visit with her children. Later, when she takes her pills again, she finally notices that the numbers on the label are rubbed off and realizes Polly had replaced her antidepressants with unknown substances. Caitlin goes to Emma's practice, apologizes to her, and admits that sometimes she tries to control her too much because she herself grew up without guidance. Emma forgives her mother and shows her a printed copy of the fire article that she stole from Polly's room, immediately pointing out that the girl in the photo is clearly young Polly. Caitlin finally understands what's going on. Returning home, she calls Polly by her real name, Rebecca. During their conversation in the kitchen, it's revealed that when they were children, Polly's father had sexually abused Caitlin and sometimes got his way. But no one believed the little girl, so she took extreme measures and decided to burn down the pervert's house entirely. Although Polly had never personally met Caitlin, she remembered the girl running away from the burning home that still held her father, mother, and infant sister. Caitlin adds that Polly's father did the same to her, something he himself had admitted, so denying his guilt is pointless. Nevertheless, Polly continues to blame Caitlin for the death of her parents and her own years of wandering through foster homes. Then she stabs Caitlin with a broken glass and vows to take over her family life. Wounded, Caitlin fights back, managing to throw her attacker hard enough to knock her unconscious. The woman rushes into the nursery, grabs baby Josie, and gets into the car, but Polly jumps onto the hood and begins smashing the windshield with a hammer. As Caitlin drives off, she collides with another vehicle, and Polly is thrown onto the asphalt, sustaining fatal injuries. That night, Miguel tells his wife that he has explained everything to Emma so the girl can understand what happened, assuring her that things will get better. Meanwhile, Emma sits with her baby sister and tells her the story of a girl named Rebecca, who once lost her parents and her sister and afterward lived almost entirely alone, eating nothing but canned tuna like a cat. That's where the film ends.